Hello everyone, Aaron Stewart here. Welcome you to another Move MHK Monday, and today we're going to talk about the fourth chapter in Move MHK, and this is about really our program assessment and analysis. This chapter really deals with kind of the internal workings of programming and how we go about executing things for the public. So it's really inwardly focused. So I hope to share a little bit about what we do on a daily basis and how we try to make some decisions of what to provide, what not to provide, and how we move it forward. So first, let's start with our core program areas. There are 7 of them. Athletics, enrichment and instructional programs, aquatics, arts and humanities, youth and teen, active adult and adaptive programs, and then facility operations. So that makes up our core program areas. So most of what we do is focused on those core program areas for what we tend to offer and deliver ideally really well. So along with core program areas, this chapter identified what the unmet needs and prioritization going forward for programming should be. And the areas identified were adult fitness, community events, aquatic programming, mainly how it applied to indoor facilities, active adult and senior wellness. And so when we talk about focusing on programs, we also look at that survey and the priority investment rating that was identified, which is the importance combined with the unmet need, broke it out this way. Adult fitness and wellness programs got a score of 199 out of 200. Adult water aerobics and fitness, a 180. Adult lap swimming, a 156. Community and special events, 152. Adult nature programs and outdoor water recreation were tied at 132, and then cultural enrichment programs at 124. And basically anything over 100 is considered a high priority to invest in. So we would be looking to bring on more of that type of programming over the next 10 years. So another large section of this chapter is dedicated life cycles. So what is a program life cycle? Well, that's basically a program from its birth or inception to where it twilights out and retires. And one of the examples I really like to use for this is adult slow pitch softball. Most of us have lived through that trend, and it was at its peak in its 80s and 90s, and it's going into its twilight years, and at some point, probably in the next 30 to 50 years, it'll be retired completely. And what we've seen come up in place of that is youth sports. In particular, youth competitive sports have really taken a hold, and they're in a strong suit. There's also another program that's in kind of its growth era, which is pickleball, and a lot of you may play pickleball now. I got introduced to that in 2008 and watched that come up through the ranks. So these program life cycles understand that how do we bring it from inception and grow it, and it's going to peak out at some point, and then how do we either reinvest in that by making it a little different, or is it actually time that it's cycling out and that trend's going away? So we continue to study that with everything. So those are kind of the things that we're looking at with program life cycles to make sure that our programs are relevant, that they're with trends, that it's not on its way out, or we need to reinvest some time and energy in it to bring it back to life. Finally, at the end of Chapter 4, there are key findings and recommendations. So part of what we're looking to do is bring more consistency to our activity guide to make sure that our descriptions are clear, that people understand what they're registering for and what age groups they're for. We want to make sure we establish performance metrics, that we're providing quality programs that the people enjoy and want to come back and do again. We want to use that program life cycle to make sure that our programs are relevant, that if they're trending up, we're investing the right amount of time and resources in. If they're starting to decline, we can either inject some new ideas into them, or we also need to know that maybe they don't need as much resources and we let them twilight and retire. Want to focus on the identified high need program areas, and specifically what it comes to the PIR rating and what people identified they want to see and what gaps there are. And then again, as I've talked before in previous videos, we need to do the cost recovery model and pricing based on participant benefits. So all those kind of wrap into that Chapter 4, and that's what we're looking to do. Again, it's a very internal chapter pointed at staff directly, but that's a little bit behind the scenes for you. although we haven't had a directly submitted question this week, there have been a lot of comments about why pools can't stay open till Labor Day. Well, number one, Northview Pool is open through Labor Day. So if you're looking to enjoy that on the weekend, I suggest you go to Northview Pool. However, the other two, City and Seco, do shut down. And there's a few reasons for that. Number one being staff. It is very hard to maintain staff after school starts because most of our employees are either high school or college students. And a lot of them have to go back to activities that they do, such as sports, that prevent them from continuing that employment. There's also, because that employment is ending, many of those students will go find other jobs that they work throughout the school year that are more consistent. So it's very difficult for us to hold on to staff through the end of the year. And we hold just about enough to do Northview Pool. So that's why we use Northview. The reason we don't use City is it takes a lot more guards to run that facility. So Northview is kind of in between City and Seco as it relates to how many staff have to be on to have the pool open. So that's why Northview is the pool of choice. The other thing that's kind of going on here is attendance. Attendance really drops in the fall. Now, I will say our past weekend, we had a really good turnout. So that's good news for Manhattan. But in reality, over time, the attendance dramatically drops in August because people are back into those activities that are associated with schools. And finally, there's a huge cost to this because you're essentially keeping water clean for 5 days that you're not using it. And it already costs us about $100,000 a week in tax dollars to operate 3 pools. And that's today. So $1.1 million last year in 2023 to run the 3 pools. So reducing that water load down, reducing that chemical treatment, and providing a single facility is the best option, both from a cost standpoint, usability standpoint, and a staffing standpoint. So that's why we do that. So many of you have asked, well, how are you going to keep staff year-round in an indoor facility? Well, it's actually easier to do that because that employment continues on and it's consistent versus coming to an end. So these students know it comes to an end at Labor Day. And so some of them, again, will take that advantage and go find other employment for their school year. They may be leaving for activities. The reality is when it's more consistent, you actually get a better volume of employees because it goes year-round. I appreciate answering any questions you may have about this subject or any others. I thank you for joining us this week. Have a great day.